Okay, namaste, namaste. Are you there? You guys there? Namaste. So listen, friends, I just wanted to come into our Facebook page today and talk a little bit about something that's really been on my heart this week. I was thinking about what do I want to bring to our It's Yoga International community this week, and it's this, that we can't expect transformation to happen. Okay? We can't just expect transformation to happen because we've showed up to our mat and we did our practice. We can expect transformation to happen when we are willing to do the practice from a place of beingness and from a place of love. And that happens more so off your mat than it happens on your mat. Okay, so your mat is a mirror. Your mat is going to show you where you're at. Larry, our teacher and our mentor and the founder of the It's Yoga system and the creator of the rocket, used to say that he would get to his mat and at one point in his life he would lift his arms, sun salutations, and hear the word, "I want a divorce." And then he would fold forward and hear, "I better take care of my back." And he had this whole sequence for it, which was really, really fun to share. But what he was really saying was that when he got to his mat, he started to listen to his inner dialogue in a very different way than off the mat, right? So if you're not practicing yoga, we really encourage you to get on your mat for so many reasons. There's so many benefits, right? You've got the physical aspect of the practice. You've got the health aspect. You've got the healing aspect. You've got the mental aspect. You've got just this feel-good thing that happens when you practice yoga. But the big piece of it, what really happens when you start practicing yoga, is that you start to hear what's going on between your ears. And one of the most profound things about the It's Yoga teacher training that I learned back in 2004 was this, that you have an inner critic and you have an inner teacher. And you are at choice as to who you listen to. Do you listen to your inner critic more than you listen to your inner teacher? And are you willing to heal that link? Are you willing to relearn how to listen to the inner teacher more than the inner critic? Because odds are the inner critic is louder than the inner teacher. I mean, based on the world we live in a society that's really inundated with fear-based thought. I mean, there's just so much, and I'll go into that another time. But basically, when you start practicing yoga, you start to hear what's happening between your ears. And that's really profound because you get to learn more about yourself. You get to learn what are the barriers to love's presence within you, and how can I shift from fear to love. And the breath is an amazing tool, right? Because what happens is initially all of the thoughts start to come up. Oh, I have all of these things happening in my mind. And then you start breathing louder and louder and louder. And then the mind starts to get quiet. I always say in our teacher trainings that the minute you start breathing, it's like hypnosis for your ego, for your inner critic. It starts to kind of like go to sleep a little bit. And that's amazing. So the practice is literally quieting your inner critic. It brings it forth so you realize you have one. Then you breathe louder to quiet the inner critic. And you get to this place in the practice where you're actually like, wow, I feel fantastic. Why do you feel fantastic? You feel fantastic, yes, because you stretched your body out, you released some tension that lived in your body, but you also quieted that inner dialogue that's been driving most of human beings a little bit cuckoo. And there was more spaciousness in between your thoughts. There was more quiet space. And in that quiet space, you connected to your inner teacher, which is the voice for love. It's loving, it's kind, it's peaceful. And there's just so much more spaciousness. And that's amazing. Then you get off your practice, get off your mat, you go out into your world and you're doing great. And I talked about this a little bit last week, where something happens that triggers you to go right back into the conversation of, I'm not good enough, or frustration or fear or anxiety, and that's a feeling, right? There's too many yogis on the planet right now that are still spending most of their day in the state of anxiety. Now, I'm a student of A Course in Miracles, many of you know that. One of my favorite lines is that a little bit of anxiety is the same as mild outrage. So it's like just a little bit of anxiety, it becomes like it's normalized in our culture. Well, It's like the energy that drives you to get to your class on time. It's the energy that drives you to be productive. It's the energy that drives you to put together creative projects and to feed your families and so forth. But I'm inviting us all to look at, can we use the energy of love to drive us? And the energy of love has a different vibration. It's not so motivated by productivity. It's motivated by quality. It's motivated by impact. It's motivated by honesty and by truth. And so when I say that we can't just expect transformation to happen because we showed up to our mat, transformation is something you earn. And you earn it by practicing what you learned on your mat, off your mat. It's like having that distinction of thought off your mat. Oh, having a moment, I'm feeling anxious. Can I take 3 breaths right now? You know, Larry was so amazing because that's how he started each one of our teacher training circles. Every day it was like, all right, let's take 3 breaths together. And what that really did was bring us into the present moment. And in the present moment, it's all good, isn't it? But not many of us are living our lives in time from the present moment. You know what I mean? Like you're moving, you're grooving, one thing leads to the next. And what I can say to you is this. For many years, I thought I deserved transformation, or I deserved the feelings of enlightenment and happiness and excitement. I just deserved that because I was a yoga practitioner. And what I can say is that, yes, on some level, we do all deserve peace and happiness and growth and all of that. But it's something that we earn. And we earn it because we show up. We tell the universe, when we're practicing yoga, we open up to the unified field of love and we say, I'm open to being used as an instrument today. You say, I'm open to moving and breathing. You align yourself to the vertical. And this is really powerful. And I just want to say this to all of us in the It's Yoga community, that if you're practicing Ashtanga and you're practicing Rocket, you're feeling it, right? You're feeling the transformation. You're feeling excited. You're seeing things change in your life, and that's all amazing. And when you're not feeling that, something's gone off. A Course in Miracles teaches us that miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. In this context, I'm speaking to miracles as like, for example, you don't know what job to take, or you don't like your job and you don't know which move to make. A miracle would be you would know if you were residing in the place of love. You would know that, and you would trust it because you have practiced that on your mat. When you're on your mat, that's what you're doing, right? You're learning how to trust your breath. You're learning how to trust the spaciousness rather than putting your trust in the egoic thought system, which is really driving us most of the time. These thoughts of not good enough and anxiety and so forth. Hi, Mara. Hi, Marcy. Hi, friends. So that's what I wanted to talk to our community about today, that we can't just expect that we're going to get enlightened because we showed up to our mat, because it really comes down to the quality of your breathing, the ability that you have and the training and the vigilance you have to shift from any thought that is unloving to a loving thought in that moment. And that's really what this whole practice is about. That's what you're doing on your mat, and this is what we learn to also practice off the mat, because this is where we start to see the transformation in our lives. It's like so many yoga practitioners I know, they come to the teacher trainings, they sit in the circles, they're like, oh my God, I love this. I'm going to go do this. They get all of this guidance, right? They're like, I'm going to go open a yoga studio, and I'm going to teach teacher trainings, and I'm going to hold retreats, and I'm going to do all these amazing things with my life. And then they go back to where they came from, and they just get caught back in what the yogis called samsara. And what do you need from samsara? This cycle of doing the same thing over and over again. And Albert Einstein said this, right? I'm doing the same thing over and over again, but I can't see the changes in my life. And I keep thinking it's going to change because I keep doing this yoga practice, or I keep doing whatever I'm doing, but I'm not really seeing the change. The yogi said you need moksha, you need freedom. You need freedom from the way that your mind is turning. And how do we do that? Is by co-creating. It's by being conscious, by bringing our awareness back to what's happening in between my ears. And it's very simple. You only have two systems of thought. It's either love or it's fear. You know you're in love when you feel at peace. And you need to know that you're in fear when you feel anxiety. And make a change. Take 3 deep breaths in that moment. Ask for your inner teacher, hey, what is this fear really about? What is it that I need to learn in this moment? Because just like you do on your mat, right? You're in a pose, it doesn't feel so great. You're like, what is this about? And then you start to feel a little bit like of guidance from your body. Your body's like, well, what would happen if you moved your arm like this? Or what would happen if you moved your back foot? And when you start to do that, you start to feel things change, right? It's the same way in your mind. What do you need to tinker with in your brain? And are you willing to do that? Okay? Because transformation in your life happens because you earn it. Because you showed up and you dedicated your practice to a bigger purpose, bigger than just me, bigger than just can my body look good, and bigger than can I just feel good in my body and be healthy. Committing your practice to transformation means that you show up every day and you dedicate your practice to the higher power. You dedicate your practice to love, and you start to really change some of those samsaras, those constant behaviors, that hamster wheel, that you start to change that, not only on your mat, but off your mat too. And that's what we're up to at It's Yoga International. This is our whole thing. It's sharing the love of the practice. And sharing the love of the practice means that you can share it because you did it. And you did it because you felt the transformation happen every time you did it. And that's really what this practice is about, guys. And I'm so honored to be your leader, your fearless leader in It's Yoga International. It's such a privilege to practice. And I can just say in my own life, this is very true for me, that sometimes I showed up late to the party. I didn't realize how much was happening that was good and that was beautiful and that was holy. I just wasn't there at the same time that it was happening. And so this is that practice of lining up off your mat, like when things are going great, and am I feeling great, and can I move in my life from that place? So I'm sending you all lots of love on this gorgeous Friday from Puerto Escondido. We can't wait to welcome you here for our trainings, and anywhere in the world that you see in It's Yoga training. We're so excited to welcome you to the circle. We've got amazing teacher trainers. They have done the work. They are everything that I'm sharing with you right now, they're on it. And I love that about them, because they know that this practice is not so much just about me and how great I'm doing. It's about we. It's about us, and it's about community, and it's about moving us more and more towards peace on earth, opening our minds to the possibilities and affecting change in a really big way, because at a causal level, from the inside out, we connect to love, to light, to peace every day, and that's the energy that takes us out into the world and into our lives. Namaste. I love you. Bye for now.